Let me ask you
Right.
this. When did your emotional state change your parents' minds about anything?
Uh, Nothing comes to mind.
Right. So your emotions were useless with regards to your parents.
Right.
I mean, if I was driving to go and see a movie with my daughter and she was really upset about something, we just wouldn't go see the movie. We'd talk about it, right? If she's upset with me about something, we'll talk. I'll take criticism or whatever and see if I can improve. So, my daughter's emotions, they have traction. They mean something. They have value. They're important,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So for whom has your emotions been important?
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe some teachers would show, a basic level of care when a kid is crying or whatever, but of course that's not really a
Okay. I mean,
replacement
I'm not
for
talking
anything.
about the. Okay. So your emotions have not been valuable. They have not affected anything. They've not really changed anything. People don't really care about whether you're happy or sad, at least in your family, right?
Yeah,
So the reason why you have trouble accessing your emotions is they're kind of pointless
I
in
guess
your
so.
family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if, and in fact, they're painful because if your emotions are ignored, then having them is really painful because then you feel ignored. Whereas if you abandon your emotions, at least you don't feel ignored. You can just walk through life like a robot, right? But at least you're not being rejected or ignored. Like
Mm.
I was really struck by you, like you crying for 5 or 6 hours in the car with your mother, right?
Right.
And nothing gets fixed, and it's not even really referenced again, right?
Uh-huh.
So your emotions didn't get your mother to pull over and say, "Oh my gosh, you're really upset. This is really bad," because you kept saying to her, "Take me to school," right?
Yeah.
You were crying. You were desperate to get out of the car. You were desperate to go to school. And what happened? Nothing. She just kept driving. Your emotions are worse than meaningless. They're painful because they don't change anyone's behavior. You just feel rejected and ignored.
Right.
And that's probably where some of the hatred came from.
Yeah, definitely.
If someone has a lot of food and you're starving, and you say, "Hey, can I have some food?" and they laugh and then start throwing the food on the ground and grinding it beneath their heel, or they laugh and just keep eating more, or they ignore you, that's really painful, right? It's frustrating. You'd be enraged.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just say, "No, I'm not hungry. You can't hurt me. I'm not hungry."
Right.
Well, I think that's what's happening with your emotions.
You make a good argument, for sure. It sounds it's very insightful.
If all of your emotions lead to pain, the only way to survive is to jettison the emotions. And I think this is why you have this flat affect. And every time I ask you a question, do you have this very distant kind of it's just very abstract and very distant. And again, I really sympathize with this. It's not any kind of negative criticism or blame, but I think your emotions not only did not help you, but through your parents' indifference or even cruelty, your emotions hurt you. Like, I mean, to take an extreme example, if you were tied to a table and you were going to be tortured, wouldn't you want to turn off your emotions? I mean, we have that if we've got to get our teeth drilled, right? We want the Novocaine. Nobody wants to be operated on without anesthetic, right?
Right.
And so if your interactions with your family are indifference and rejection, they don't care, they're not invested, what good do your
Yeah.
feelings do you? So it's around denormalizing your emotions being useless.
Right.
Now, your emotions are useless around some people, and in fact, your emotions can be counterproductive around some people because they will use your needs for purposes of sadism.
Uh-huh.
Like in the novel 1984, the hero or the protagonist, Winston Smith, is afraid of rats. He's desperately afraid of rats. So what do they torture with him with? They put rats on his head. Right. So his fears are now used against him in the same way that, somebody who kidnaps, a beloved husband, well, the wife wants the husband back. So the fact that she loves him is used against her, right? So, I mean, for all I know, your mother was enjoying the fact that you were crying because she had power over you on that 5 or 6 hour car ride. But if your emotions are used against you, if everything that you want and you desire is used to make you feel bad, then you're going to have to cut off your emotions. I mean, you have to just to survive.
Right. That makes sense.
It's called dissociation, right? Which is when this happens to rape victims, like they float outside their body. It happens to sexual abuse victims. It's called dissociation. They just disconnect from their physicality because their physicality is being used against them. Their pain, their sense organs, their everything, fight or flight mechanism, everything's being used against you. So you just have to detach and dissociate.
Right.
And I think that happened to it's not 100%, obviously never 100%, but I think that happened because your feelings got you nowhere except to a place of pain and rejection. You reach out for your father, he ignores you. You reach out for your mother, she ignores you or she's cruel.
Yeah.
And so your emotions are worse than useless. They're actually dangerous. And therefore, you gotta, if a dog's chasing you, you jump the fence, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think because you've detached from your emotions in order to survive the cruelty and indifference and neglect of your childhood, it's tough to say, well, what do I want to do with my life? Because the key word there is want. You have to want. You have to have emotions. I want to do philosophy. I wake up, I yearn, and I burn to do philosophy. I love philosophy. Right? But I have to have access to my feelings to know what I want to do. And other people's, like your parents and other family members' colossal indifference and your friends' colossal indifference to you means that the want, that's the price we pay for dissociating. And it's a necessary thing to do when you're a kid, but now that you're an adult, you got to start reclaiming those feelings. Because how will you know what you want to do with your life if you don't have any particular wants because your feelings are alienated?
Yeah, everything you say.
Like, how would you know what you want to eat if you had no taste buds?
Yep.
Like, in COVID, right? Some people lost their sense of taste. Everything tasted like cardboard or something. It's like, well, what do you want to eat? I don't know. It doesn't. I don't have any preference because it all tastes the same. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say everything you say makes sense. I think, yeah.
So I think now, as far as that goes, I mean, therapy is good. And Nathaniel Branden has a book called The Disowned Self, which I think is about dissociation. It's been a long time since I read it, but I think it's about dissociation. And that might be but I think you need to, I think one way to break through that dissociation is to be honest and direct with your parents, particularly your father, who himself sounds severely dissociated. That would be my suggestions, that you just have to find a way to care about yourself, but caring about yourself is going to put you in a collision course with your parents. Because if your parents are implicitly saying you're not really worth much to me, like we can just get together, I don't really care about your life, but I enjoy jawboning about politics, blah blah blah, right? So if you say I care about myself now, like I really have to care about myself, and then other people treat you with indifference, that's a collision, right?
Yeah.
Only one of those perspectives can sustain itself. If you're worth something and people treat you like you're not worth anything, then either they're right or you're right. And if they're right, which they're not, right, then you aren't, then your belief that you're worth something is a false, which is not true. But if you're right that you are worth something, which you are, and other people treat you as if you're worthless or not interesting in your essence, not just in convenient political talk, then there's a collision.
Uh-huh.
And I really think that's the price of being around people who don't really care about you, is it's really almost impossible to start caring about yourself.
Right.
So does that make sense? I mean, I don't really have much to
Yeah,
add outside of
I
that.
good argument, for sure.